What's up, y'all? Your boy Dumptruck here, towing the line for Chasing the Ride, a really great podcast series brought to you by Rider Justice. I have the founder with me here, Mr. Scott O'Sullivan, the O'Sullivan Law Firm, and my two newest best friends that just made my Rolodex moments ago. We have Bonds and Roller Derby, and we have a lot of exciting things to learn about racing and manufacturing and where that intersects, and also being a leader in the community with open arms through your Heck Yeah Motorcycle Club.
Cool. Yeah.
And let's just get to it. We've got Paul and Moriah here.
Yeah.
And Scott, you obviously know them better than I do, which makes me excited for these conversations. I love people. Let's meet them.
Well, one of the things that we've been kind of starting with, and I love your story, I mean, I'm not going to tell it, but I'll let you guys tell it, is I know you've been riding forever, but let's talk about your entry into riding, at what age and how, and you know, how it evolved. So we'll start with that. It doesn't have to be the whole life story, but how you got into it. We can start, Moriah, Paul, whichever, yeah.
I mean, you kind of started because I got started, right?
Yeah.
So, growing up, like everybody had dirt bikes, and so just being a boy and having friends that were boys, we got into trouble riding
Right.
dirt bikes.
Doing hood rat stuff.
Yeah, that's exactly it, right? But like I think I matured too fast or something and found myself in a career like much earlier than normally people are in their careers. And so I, just by career-wise, I do software stuff. I do computer things. I was a hacker and all those things. And about 2015, I was working for a startup, and startups are like super high-stress environments. I mean, the analogy I use is your brain is wide open for years. And I just kind of cooked my brain, and the startup didn't really go anywhere, and I was just burned out, didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. And I have no idea how this happened, but I was just farting around on Craigslist and saw this 1972 CB450 that was kind of somewhat put together. I knew nothing about internal combustion motors. I think I always wanted to, but just never had time.
Right.
And I don't know why, but I spent some money in a time when I just didn't really have an active income to buy this bike, and spent a couple of weeks just literally reading manuals and figuring out how carburetors work and all that stuff and getting it going. And as soon as I got it going, I realized I liked riding them as much as I liked putting them together, and that's all she wrote for me. That was just, it became the hyper addiction. Everything was about motorcycles at this point. So.
And yeah, now it's all consumed.
Yeah, it's all consumed in the worst and best ways.
Yeah,
it's a blessing and a
absolutely.
curse.
Yeah. I didn't have any experience with motorcycles. I had one really poor experience on a dirt bike where my husband and my brother-in-law just put me on a dirt bike, and they went, "It's 1 down, 5 up, have fun." And I almost killed myself. I almost got hit by a car on a mountain road. It was just like,
Almost
it scared.
doesn't count, by the way.
It scared me so bad. I had no business being on this bike. And so when he brought this bike home, when he went through his like bout of depression and brought this bike home, he was like, "Hey babe, get on the back. Let's just go and ride through the trees."
Reset.
Yeah, and I rode on the back for about 20 minutes. And we smelled the pine trees and looked at the leaves falling, and I just thought, okay, I'm gonna take the class because I do not belong on the back of the bike. And if I still hate motorcycles after I take the class, if I'm still scared of them, then I'll know that it's not for me. But if I take the class and I like it, then I'll get one. So I took the class, and he texted me and said, "How did your class go today?" And I said, "I feel really comfortable on the bike. I feel really confident." And when I walked out of the classroom, there was a bike waiting for me. So
nice. Well played. Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, we've done a lot of riding since then. But yeah, there is something really special about being on a motorcycle, for sure. Yeah.
I totally agree. Like, the second you figure out, I not only can do this, but I want to.
Yeah.
That's the first yes that you say that starts the rest of the problems that come after it. So that's how you guys got started. Now, I know from my many hours of research that you have this engineering background that has now obviously crossed over into motorcycling. When did that really become like a full force for you, and what level are you at now? Like, what type are you manufacturing parts for your bikes, for other customers? Like, what's your jam?
So not long after we got into motorcycles, I was on Instagram, and this was when Roland Sands was doing his Super Hooligan thing.
Yeah.
And I saw people racing Harleys, and I was like, this is what I got to do next. I don't know anything about racing. I don't know anything about flat track.
It's a great
but it was
event.
this is what I need to do next. So the thing about flat track is, and particularly the Hooligan class where you're building street bikes into these dirt bikes, is you can't just go open your drag specialties catalog and be like, I want this to fit the 1993 Sportster that I have, or like everything is fabricated. So I had to learn how to weld. I had to learn how to build a tube. I had to learn how to fabricate, and it just became this like, okay, now I'm doing the next thing. And then during COVID, I won a raffle where I got this knucklehead chopper bike.
Oh my God.
And I was so stoked about
great
it.
raffle.
It was awesome. And I rode it for a while and then just realized like I got to work on this thing more than I got to ride it, and it's kind of taken me away from racing and that kind of thing. So I sold it and took the money that I made from that
and bought 900 motorcycles.
No, I actually bought a CNC mill so that I could make 900 motorcycles.
There you go. I did
And
that.
I've been working. I have a lathe and a CNC, and I can run the CNC lights out at this point, making triple trees and foot clamps and all that kind of stuff. So my big thing is I want to make motorcycles that fit people so they're comfortable. And like, I hear lots of my friends say, oh, I tried a motorcycle and I didn't really like it. And they tell me what they rode, and I'd be like, that's because that bike didn't fit you.
It's not your bike.
Right, yeah. If you can get it to fit you, you're going to love a bike. But you need to get it to fit you first. And so thinking about like what things need to be adjustable that you can, I'm 2 inches shorter than the last guy who owned this bike or whatever. And so that's kind of been my obsession, is how do we make this accessible to more people?
Yeah, and so, I mean, I kind of know your sense of humor, both of you, a little bit. So what's the name of your company?
It's KillJoy Manufacturing.
Yeah, which I love.
It comes from KillJoy Racing.
Yeah.
And the story here is that the Hooligan class is kind of the party class, right? In flat track.
Absolutely.
And I don't party. I am not the guy who's out till 2 a.m. partying in strip clubs. And you'll find me in my hotel room before a race night, reading a book and getting to bed early so that I'm ready for the next day.
Yeah.
The hip to be square or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was at a party with a bunch of Hooligan friends, and we were looking at something in a back room, and one of our friends comes out and he goes, oh, what are you guys doing? Oh, Paul's back here. Can't be that fun. So, and that's what it is. That's just my brand, is that I don't have any tattoos, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I can't swim, and I don't know karate. So that's it.
One hell of an anchor, though. I love it. That's rad. KillJoy. Well, how did Heck Yeah come about?
So Heck Yeah was actually started by a couple that sponsored me for my first year at Build Train Race, the Royal Enfield program.
What a cool program.
Yes, and I reached out to them and I just said, I really like your company, I really like what you're saying, and really they started it to be an all-inclusive brand. But just over time, their lives got in the way. They both have real jobs and they just weren't able to keep it going. And so I asked them if I could take it over, and then I did. But I really like what they stood for. The thing about motorcycling is a lot of people get intimidated by it.
Right.
They feel like they have to be a certain way. They feel like they have to be tough. They feel like they have to, have a bunch of tattoos or look a certain way or want to do crime, right? It's like this. It's this whole world where.
Are you in the back part of the show right now?
I don't want to do crime. I just don't want to get caught.
That's fair. But yeah, you feel like do I fit here? Because there's this whole world that you're stepping into, and I decided, no, I want people to come in and feel welcome right away.
Yeah.
And I'm really fun and I'm really silly, and I think if you're on a motorcycle, you're already tough and you don't need to prove yourself. So yeah, Heck Yeah has really become something that is about, welcoming riders to be who they are. And just allow them to be themselves without having to put on a costume or put on a persona.
And
in order
like
to
your
like
shirts and stuff like what you're wearing now, just like makes you smile. Like, I'm excited you're excited.
Yeah, we're all excited to be
I mean,
here.
it's just fun, right?
Yeah.
And that makes it immediately approachable.
Cool.
Yeah, and then people want to wear it because it's also fun, right? And I think that's important. Yeah.
Well, see, like what you're hitting is is a subject that is always changing right now, and to me, that is the definition of a biker. Like, I'm a biker means so many different things.
Yes.
There are people that have a motorcycle life that don't consider themselves bikers because it's more of like a random recreational activity. And so like
Yes.
if you're not married to it, you really aren't. So it's like people get stuck on this, well, I'm not a hell yeah brother biker with you know, silver jewelry and tattoos and long hair and beards and like, but you don't have to be, you know, there's people that look like this that don't ride motorcycles.
Yeah.
Like the definition of a biker is someone who is simply consumed by motorcycles, whether it's the history of it, riding it, wrenching them. If it is the biggest thing that takes over your life, then you're in it. Like you're already there. And like you were saying, you're already tough. You're already doing your thing, but it's for you. Like this is a singular experience. It's one of the greatest singular experiences you can share in a big group of people too. Because
Yeah.
I mean, even racing, like if we're like right next to each other, you're on a different line altogether. I'm trying to get to it, and we're having two completely separate experiences while we're literally going the same direction. So it is about the individual. So you need to define what a biker is to you. It's not a costume contest.
Yeah.
So don't go out to the store and
Yeah, this is
dress
not
like
cosplay.
someone else. Go to the store and dress like you.
Yeah.
You've got great partners with Rider Justice like Revit and Revzilla. They're great resources for what kind of safety gear and lifestyle gear you need to wear. Do you in all things. And I love that that's kind of like what y'all preach and what you're about. I'm all about big arms and big hugs.
Yeah.
Like, open the gates. And motorcycling ain't for everyone, but it could be for you. Don't be the thing that gets in your way. Bam.
Preach.
I say it, yes. It is Sunday, y'all. I'm just feeling it.
So, you know, we were joking earlier about, you know, you're a killjoy, but you also put on an amazingly fun event that probably leads to a little bit of insanity, right? I mean, come on.
Color me intrigued.
I mean,
Busted.
what you're trying to put together is extremely difficult. I only got a taste of it behind the scenes, just a smidge. But tell the world what you did last year and what's coming up and what the basis of it is, because it is amazing and you need to go to it.
Yeah.
I mean, period. Yeah.
So the Mile High Showdown started in 2019. Sorry, 19. I had the 19 right. 2019, we put on this event at our local track, and we invited all of our friends that we had met from going to their tracks, and we're just like, come and race our track. And we had great sponsors, and we've been doing that ever since. It's kind of been hooligan themed. It started out as kind of hooligan themed because that's where all of our friends, that's who we raced
and
against.
for the people that know, what does that mean?
So a hooligan bike is a flat track bike that started as a street bike. So the most common hooligan bike that you'll find is like a 1993 to 2003 Harley Sportster, basically the rigid mount Evo Sportster.
Right.
Yeah.
I ride a Ducati Scrambler and and a Harley XG750. So, but they're heavily modified. Mine are heavily modified so that they work well. But you don't have to do that. You can take your Sportster and bring it out and race it with us on a dirt track.
Yeah. Awesome. And then so you start this. It's been going for a few years. You got how many races going in any one day? It's a huge amount of races.
I mean, I think we run somewhere around 15 classes. So we do. Last year we moved to a bigger venue and decided that we would do a short track, which is the normal oval track racing that you see in flat track.
Right.
And then halfway through the night, we reconfigure the track and do a TT.
It's amazing.
And the difference between a TT and a short track is that you get a right turn and you get a jump.
Right.
And if you've ever seen a 450-pound Harley jumping 10 feet jumps, tabletops, and 4 feet up in the air, I mean, I did not expect these guys to be sending it the way they were.
They were sending it.
It was insane.
I love
awesome.
that.
I mean, it was great. And that's the Mile High Showdown is the name of the event.
Yeah.
And this year we're going to do it on September 20th in Greeley, Colorado at the Island Grove Regional Park where they do the National Stampede.
Yeah, it's a great venue. There's not a bad seat in the house. It's so fun to see.
I mean, everywhere where you sit here, because it's an oval track, you're going to see something going down. You're going to see the crazy crashes and the people putting a wheel up on the inside, scooting somebody out of the way. That action to me is like the essence of flat track is that just into the corner, let's hope everybody gets out of it together, right? And it's just so great as a result of that. So the Mile High Showdown this year is September 20th. We're going to do the same thing. We'll probably put about 10,000. I think last year we had about $15,000 in prize money across all of our classes.
That's awesome.
We had some guys going home with a chunk of change in their pockets. So
Nice. Yeah, you guys had people coming down from Canada, Minnesota.
Yep.
I mean, they're all over the
Yep,
place. I
Utah.
also loved the family aspect to it. I mean, seeing these little girls rip. You
Yeah,
know,
they're
it was
so
so fun and so cute, and it was just awesome to see.
yeah, I think the kids program is probably the most fun for me.
Yeah.
You might not remember this, but we went and did a flat track race that you were announcing, and my kid was the only one who showed up. And you had the whole crowd.
Yep.
You had the whole crowd chanting his name. And I'll tell
awesome.
you, as a parent, like there's one kryptonite that I have, and that's just like
Yeah.
when people show him the love that I have for him, and
Yeah.
it was a teary moment for me.
I do remember it, like very much, and it was a really cool moment,
Yeah.
and to see everyone jump on that, because a lot of us have been that person. You can feel abandoned real quick,
Yep.
Yeah,
and
right.
as a small person, that's a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, we got a job, man.
Yeah.
Like energy, engage. Let's root this little short stack on, and let's rock and roll. And that was cool. So
Yeah.
now I'm crying on chasing the ride. Fuck you,
mean-
Paul.
The thing is though that became the inspiration for me, is that like I wanted all these kids to have this at this event. I wanted them to come out and hear people screaming their names and being so
Get
excited
excited.
for them and stuff. So they don't really get a lot of opportunities to be in front of 1,500, 2,000 people, screaming and cheering for them coming across the line. It was great for me, and that was that was
Everybody
the core
was like,
message.
I think everybody was touching their hearts the whole time. They're like, you go, little man.
Yeah. So I mean that was a big thing for me, is with the kiddos race, and that's what I want for them. It's the same thing I felt then.
That's dope. That's
Yeah.
sick. What a cool moment to be brought back like that. I'm getting dehydrated right now. Dump truck with a heart.
That's right.
We knew it was in there.
Yes, that's right.
So what are your big goals now that you are steering the ship, you're at the helm?
Yep.
Like, there's this thing I want to do, whether you're ready for it now, building up to it. Like, I'm doing it because this is what I'm envisioning.
So the first thing is I really want there to be fun events that people can come and meet each other. The issue that I have is if somebody comes to an event and has a great time and makes a friend, that's a success for me.
Absolutely.
It's not necessarily like financially sustainable. So like that's
Right.
what I have to figure out. But yeah, what I really want to do is first of all, events. So I have one event coming up in May. Instead of a bar crawl, like I don't want to do a bar crawl. I want to do a bakery crawl. I want to
That's awesome.
yeah, I want to scoot
You better
around.
let somebody know.
Yeah.
I'm tugging at my heart. Both y'all tugging at heart. This is some bullshit. Why did you do this to me?
It's all part of the master
I
plan.
am a massive baker. Like, for real. We don't buy food, we make food.
Yeah, like I want to scoot around with a bunch of people that I care about, and I want to meet some new people, support some local businesses, have some pastries. So I really want to do events that are fun, that like are really welcoming and bring people out.
Yeah.
I would really like to do a yearly camp out, like a yearly ride and camp out. So going up the Poudre Canyon and doing peak to peak as a group, I think would be really great. A lot of people don't get the opportunity to ride that ride, and I would love for people to do peak to peak together. I also would really love to welcome new riders and kind of give them a little bit more support. For like, yeah, we're gonna do a canyon ride today for like new riders only. So we're gonna go slow. We're gonna talk about riding in a group and really just like help usher people into it, so that they feel safe, they feel prepared on the road, and they have a group of people that they can talk to and
That by
be
itself
with.
is super important for a lot of things. You're instilling community, and whenever you are educating them on how to do this, it is a big safety thing, and you're gonna you give them a lot more freedom, because now Joe Schmuckatelli can go to this event where he doesn't know anyone and he's still green, and it doesn't matter because you just know where you stay in your line. You know that it's not a race.
Right.
And you learn how to stagger appropriately, like how to signal, how to pass as a group, like all those things. I've been a part of a few different group rides where I
Really
was like,
sketchy.
all right, everybody, I know I'm the one that ain't from here, but I'm going to stand on this motorcycle. I'm going to learn you. Uncle Truck's clocking in. This is how you ride in the pack. I hope no one hates me after this.
Right.
I did that once at an Oregon run. It happens to be in Oregon.
Yeah.
And everyone left me at the gas station. And like I saw a few accidents almost happen when we were passing actually a fueler. And I was just like, okay,
Yeah.
we got to teach. Some of these people don't know how to do it. They're just trying to keep up with the fast people.
Yeah.
And they left me, and I was just like, that's it. I'm on the outside now. I thought I was helping. I must have said it like an asshole. And then I catch up with the pack.
Yeah.
And there's a hill that goes up as we're going back into the mountains, and I see it was beautiful. I'm getting emotional again. This guy slept really well and everything last night.
Yeah, that's right.
But I see this beautifully staggered pack of assholes that left me at the gas station.
That's right.
Like I haven't seen ever. And it looked
Nice.
like someone drew it. And I'm going, oh, they may hate me, but they learned something.
They
It turns
learned
out they
something.
didn't hate me. We had a great
Yeah.
time. They were just literally excited to get back out on the road because they've been
Yeah.
empowered, and you're going to be empowering
Right.
people.
Yeah.
That's really tight. How are you getting the word out right now?
So I'm getting the word out right now via Instagram and Facebook. So
Where do we find you on that? We'll ask that again at the end.
yeah, that's okay. Heck Yeah Moto Club on Instagram, and it's the same on Facebook. It's just facebook.com/Heck Yeah Moto Club. And yeah, I have a website, heckyeahmotorcycleclub.com. So yeah, just posting events on social media, as well as people who follow on the website. If you sign up for like email notifications, I'll send it through that as well.
Cool. Do you have
Yeah.
like a local outreach that you do as well, like beating the feet and like, hi, I'm at this other motorcycle event. Want to say hi to you. I do these things.
Sorry, what?
Do you beat pavement as well, or is it all online when you promote what you're doing?
I took a break over Christmas just to
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
like
throw it out there.
reset.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are a lot of local groups. So I'm also one of the founders of the Litas Fort Collins,
Right.
and so trying to get women that way. Dealerships around the area, leaving events there. I do need to be a little bit more tapped in to some of the groups that already exist here. So there's Inclusive Moto, and there's also Colorado Moto Meetup that's here.
Right, yeah, we spoke to them yesterday.
Yeah, so just getting to know more people in the area. It's hard because it's a lot of ground to cover. I'm up in
Yeah.
Fort Collins, like going all the way down to Denver. There's a ton of cities. Are a ton of groups.
Yeah.
So just trying to get a little bit
It
more
almost
tapped
feels
in.
like they're,
Yeah.
Reed is not going to feel territorial over this because it's Denver Moto Meetup and it's
Yeah.
very local.
There's an opportunity for collaboration. if
Fort
anything.
Collins, yeah. There's, you guys have such a great downtown and get all
Yeah.
these shops and everything there, and maybe that's how you just kind of grow it that way, organically,
Yeah.
local. And then you collaborate on the different stuff because they've been
Yeah.
doing camp moto meetup for years. It kind of went dormant. We were just talking about it the other day, and
Yeah.
just like your idea, there's no reason to reinvent the wheel. And we all can kind of grow and do community together, like we've been talking about this whole weekend. And
Do you
yeah.
find a
I
lot of that
honestly-
attitude
oh.
on the manufacturing side of things too? Like in the hooligan community and all that? Like in the pits of the races, like you're not friends on the track, but in between races, there tends to be a lot of helping.
Yeah.
So I think I got lucky.
Well, duh.
When I sure. But like that CB450 that I built, I didn't know if it was safe. I didn't
Right.
know what it was supposed to feel like. So I Googled and found a local motorcycle shop about a block from a mile from my house and took it down there, and they were only a Harley shop. And I walked in, just hat in hand, and was just like, hey, I got this motorcycle. I don't know if it's safe. And he could have just said, hey, we just do Harleys. Sorry, dude.
Yeah.
But he came out to the parking lot and he checked a bunch of things and like adjusted a throttle for me and then kind of pushed on the forks and was like, you kind of did this wrong, so redo this. And that's how I got into Harleys,
Yeah.
like literally. And I've spent so much money at that shop now because somebody came out and just said, you're not the guy who would be my customer, but like I'm still going to help you. And then through those connections that I made in that shop, there were a bunch of hooligans who just kind of adopted me. There was never like, hey, are we friends? It was just like, we're friends. That's
Like,
like,
hey, what's up?
Yeah.
right?
Now we're friends. Chest bump.
And so like,
Friends.
those guys have moved on and they aren't racing very much anymore, but I've assumed that role where
Right.
like if you're racing hooligan, we're homies. Like I'm going to help you however you can, because you getting faster makes me faster. Like, it's all the rising tide raises all ships
Yes,
kind of
sir.
thing. And that's how I am. Like, if I'm in the pits and you show up with a motorcycle and you're ready to race a Hooligan bike with me, I'm going to be like, yes, this is rad, let's race. When you ask questions, I'm going to be like, this is what I did. I've done this. I've probably built 15 Hooligan bikes at this point. I've made all the mistakes there are to make, that everybody makes. And so, like, I can be like, hey, don't spend any money here. You're going to hear spend money here. Don't spend any money here yet. Spend money here, like, get a Sportster, race the bike, stock.
There's always a good reason to buy a Sportster.
Always.
My first Harley's an 89 4-speed. Still have it, and it'll never, ever, ever leave my. I mean, get another Sportster. They can be anything.
I mean,
like, they
I think
literally
we have
can be anybody.
6 Sportsters.
Well, I mean, and I call that a great start to a beautiful stable.
Yeah, no, that's exactly
Because there's still room for more. You can put them in your back pocket. Like, you can hide those things all over the place.
I got them hanging from the ceiling.
They're super fun. I bet you do. Yeah, that's how there's 6 of them.
I think you touch on such a good point, though. Like, something that we really believe is, like, there's room enough for everybody.
Yes.
Totally.
Right? Like you don't need to push people out. You don't need to form your own little cool group and leave other people out. Like, there really is room enough for everybody.
Yeah, totally. And like, that kind of touches on the kind of question in the back of my mind is, after being at your event last year, seeing how just amazing it is, like, if you could wave a magic wand, what would you want the next step to be? What would be a successful event where you feel really, I thought it was a great successful event, but like, I know internally you have your own thoughts, but what would make it that way, and how can partners and
in a
advertisers
perfect world and
get
in a
involved?
vacuum. Like, what is it?
I think one of the things that I would really like to do is put a bike show with it. So we have this huge parking lot out front. It was relatively full, but I'd like to block out a bunch and do a bike show like we're looking out over here. I'd like to do that. I'd like to do a stunt show. We've talked to some people about doing
Well, you got a great community for that here in Colorado.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So we'd like to do some sort of stunt show at the same time. For me, what would be the most meaningful, like when I talk to people and I tell them about the showdown and people that went to the showdown, I was working the whole time, so I didn't get to see very many of my friends, but I'd get these text messages that were like, those text messages are like, you have to scroll to read them, it's one single one. I got like 20 of those, and it was like, how do I do this? What can I do to help next year? This was the most fun I've had in a long time. I think if I could crystal ball, I would love to have a beginner Hooligan class. You're not in with these pro guys. Like, some of these guys are fast, and their bikes are built, and they've probably got $40,000 into their Sportster.
They've got experience, years of it. That's one thing I like about Four Corners is when I get to announce the flat track there. So we have Hooligan Amateur and Hooligan Pro. And that is for the reasons you are explaining right now.
I would love to have somebody who shows up with a stock Sportster and wins some money because they ride. They were just ready to go. They were just ready to shove it into a corner and get out of it as quick as possible.
It was so fun seeing that difference. To your point, there's guys that are trying their best, and then guys that are like, and he's gone.
And
you're not catching up. And I remember talking to them in the parking lot, and they're like, oh, I'm like trying to we're not going to get it. Why? Can't get it fixed fast enough. Can't re-gear it. Can't retune it. But still having a great time. And to your point, it'd be fun to have that beginner class just out there, just ripping it up and laughing and having a good time.
Are there opportunities here to learn how to flat track a program? Because most tracks have some sort of a program. Is that something that you're a part of as well?
So we have
kind of learning people how to turn right and go left.
At IMI, we can split out. We have a couple of novice classes. We could split our Hooligan class in a way that was novices and expert. Colorado has a really great program called American Super Camp.
Okay, cool.
Danny Walker, who kind of runs the program, he just moved to Kentucky, but he lived here. And I know so many people that have gone through American Super Camp. Even if you're not a flat tracker, if you have no interest in flat track, he teaches you how to be safe on a motorcycle.
And safe on the dirt.
It's not just dirt, but being comfortable. I'll get on my big Harley now, and I am really comfortable with hitting gravel. Because feeling that step out, and you're just like I don't notice until I'm through it. it doesn't become a big story because I knew how to ride the bike and I knew where to be seated, and that's because of Danny Walker and American Supercamp. He's fantastic at it. And then there's racing classes as well that are for racer specific people that want to learn how to dirt track. But like, it's a great program just for anybody who wants to ride motorcycles. I've done it, I've probably gone 12 or 13 times to do this. I've gone regularly.
It's not cheap.
Sounds like it.
Get us sell some more shirts.
I mean, we've often joked.
Seriously, I'm excited you're excited to buy these shirts.
We've often joked about doing something where we're like, let's have an event where people go to American Supercamp for the first time and then they have their first race like that night. And like that's the event,
what
right?
They just
like
learned
you're going with people who are at the same level as you, who are kind of the same level of terrified as you, but but you're not going so fast that you're going to get injured, we've joked about it quite a bit.
I'm currently in the process of building some mini bikes so that people who have never flat tracked before can just get out on a little XR100.
You want to get out on a mini bike?
No, those things bite me every single time. Like the smaller the bike, the bigger the danger.
Scary. You can send yourself to the moon.
Yeah, I've definitely got a pimp walk because of one of those mini bikes. But like out there on top of a hill in the middle of Oklahoma, the hill fell out from underneath me while I was pointing and laughing at my friend that was stuck in the mud. The hill goes, "Hold your beer, watch this, boy." Just drops right there, rolls. I was happy as hell. Still rode mini bikes the next few days with 1 foot. They dangerous, but they happy makers.
Well, why don't you come out and race a mini bike for the showdown?
I prefer to talk about those things more than I prefer to compete. Okay.
Maybe we'll just have you go around the track with a flag during halftime.
Stranger things have happened.
Scott raved the checkers for both our Hooligan mains.
So fun.
At the last Mile High Showdown.
It was so fun.
That's fun.
And that's when I really actually got a glimpse of the insanity of what you're putting together. Because all the people, all of them lining up, the crew trying to control the mad squirrels, and then just getting out and doing it, and just was amazing. I mean, really, so impressive, so fun. Real honor for us to be a part of it. But you out doing the flag or what? I mean, just
especially if I crash. I've been known.
That's right.
Yeah, you can test out the TT.
It'll make me have to go TT. I guarantee you that. I'm scared and nervous.
And I think one of the things, without getting too mushy and get him crying again.
Again, I know, right?
Exactly. What you guys do is so important to the community in general, right? We're talking about it. It's the floats, all boats. It's all about community. It's all about doing fun stuff together. It's just really important. I mean, it just is, and it brings a whole different dimension of fun and excitement to it, that there was so many families at your event in the stands watching this, and for a great value to come be entertained on a gorgeous night. I mean, what's better? And somehow we'll push the shit out of it this year. We'll try to get more people coming, because they need to go do it.
One of the things I like about those events is there's a lot of people that start in the stands.
Oh, that's
Because when I found when racing found me, I was working for the motor company, emceeing, and they put me on tour of the NHRA. And a racing pit is a racing pit. It's a racing pit. Like, there is a vibe that definitely translates to all form of racing, and it is a blast. And I guarantee you, every single person that is out there holding the throttle saw someone else doing it, and they're going, "So Sportster, huh?"
Right.
And so it begins. And
that's
got to be like a whole lot. That's where like the run what you brung class really like comes into play. It's like, do you want to fuck around and find out? Well, boy, howdy, we got a race for you. And I think that that's really rad. And it's like, it's one of those things where if you're not into racing yet, just go to one. Like, see what it's about, smell the fuel, choke on the dirt, drink the beer, don't drink the beer, like whatever. But like, get down in it. It's a very tangible experience. Like, when you're in the audience, there's still a vibration. You can feel it all. And like, there's an attraction to it. And when you find racing, or when racing finds you, Like, you'll be in there, and then you're going to be learning how to flat track on a Sportster and have a really good time doing it. And that's, I mean, there's so much inspiration there. Whether it's what kind of parts am I going to make, what kind of event do I want to represent. Anytime you go to a big show, like the vibration and the ripple, like, inspires a bunch of people that may not even know that they're next in line to take over a motivational company that welcomes and takes all comers, you know? Like,
Didn't think I would do it.
see,
Yeah, a
it
couple
just
years
shows,
ago.
it finds you.
Not
Like,
on the
it
radar.
just shows up.
Yeah.
I love that. What, do you want to try to do the lightning round?
Yeah, let's try to do our version of a lightning round, which sounds more like that Rolling Thunder. is
Yeah,
what we
we're-
decided it is.
Okay.
There's no
Calling it-
short answer to any of these questions.
No, like we're going to do a lightning round, and then it's like we are still on that story.
We're
for
still
question
bullshitting about
one.
something.
Yeah.
But so far we've been asking questions like looking at your garage.
Oh, no. I'm
What-
out, guys.
What is missing? What is the bike
Nothing
that
is
you
missing.
dream about? Like there's
We have
out
everything
of here.
in there.
Yeah.
It's God. Okay.
We're gonna work through this thing.
You
We're
know
gonna
what? You know
unpack
what?
that,
Go
all
ahead.
right? We're
Go
gonna
ahead,
unpack
Paul.
that.
I'll answer second. Go ahead, babe.
What is missing in my garage?
Yeah. What bike are you dreaming about? Like everybody wants to build something or just own one. Like there's a thing. It may not even have anything to do with racing.
Why don't you say what needs to be removed?
No. I
It's like,
I know
like,
what
I
you're
can
saying.
take a break.
I
This
know
is
what
gonna
you're
go on
saying.
for a
I
while.
almost caused a divorce. I'm sorry about that. I did not mean to bring that
No.
up.
Not that kind of lawyer, are
Not
you?
that kind of lawyer.
If it
no, I
hasn't
wasn't.
happened yet, it's not going
Yeah.
to.
I have pushed my luck a lot and discovered that like there's I need to regulate myself because she will not regulate me. She'll just be upset.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, I wish I had more. What exists in my garage today is more than my skill set, and so I wish that I had more time to grow that skill set. And I'm doing it little bit by little bit by little bit.
You don't get to answer your question.
Yeah.
You answer my question.
That's what's
fair.
missing in the garage, though.
No.
Yeah.
What motorcycle?
Oh, what
are
motorcycle?
you dreaming about? What is your garage missing? What motorcycle are you trying to answer somebody else's question so you don't get in trouble?
I don't like
I
your
see
question.
you. You're only right over there.
Lightning round. Let's go.
I told you, Rolling Thunder.
Okay, so I've got my eye on this new Buell Super Cruiser, right?
Yes,
And it
yes.
might be
Now
that
we're
it's just
talking.
like it's just kind of redundant for the FXR that I'm building.
Right.
The F in FXR does not stand for finished, by the way, because nobody ever finishes
It's
them.
how you speak to an FXR. I feel you. I've got a 91.
Yeah. And so like it may just be kind of identical to the FXR that I'm building, but I keep looking at it and thinking, do I want one of those in my garage? And I think that might be it. So
Well, that's cool. That's
Yeah.
a really, really rad bike. I mean, like especially
Surprise.
with the history between Buell and the FXR and all of that. It's really rad. So you can't remove anything from the garage, but what can you add to
What's
it?
missing?
What's-
A working motorcycle. That's what's missing. Here's the thing. When you have over, last time we counted, it was 18. When you have over 18 bikes, you can't maintain all of them. You can't maintain, and bikes are meant to be ridden, not hidden.
Sure.
You are not a shop. You don't have employees. You can't maintain that many bikes.
Remember
the
one
next-
time we
So
had
a working
this bottle?
motorcycle.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, on the next episode of Dr. Ruth. That's
Was
me.
that okay of an answer?
That was a great answer.
If I'm talking about like a thing, not a motorcycle, it's
You got to answer my question.
It's missing a paint booth, though. I really
You got to
want.
answer
Okay,
my
all right.
question. This isn't a paint booth show.
This isn't a paint booth show.
I can send you a link to some inflatable ones that are actually professional and work really well and cost less than $600.
What is missing?
KLR.
It's,
I think the answer of a running motorcycle was perfect, actually.
okay.
Sorry, Paul.
Sorry, babe.
What are you riding right now?
So for my daily, I have a '93 rigid mount Sportster. She's like a fun little taco bike.
She runs.
Yeah.
See? Oh,
I gotta
you're part
fix
of
the
the problem,
throttle
too.
cable. Well, if there's no room in the garage to fix your throttle cable, then you can't really
So
fix
the
it,
answer
can
is
you?
it's okay that you don't have running bikes as long as she does.
Yeah,
I hope
no,
we
that's,
all learned
that's
something.
true.
We have had
That's
this
true.
conversation
We've had this
recently,
conversation, yeah.
It feels fresh.
I have a Dyna that I'm working on for like longer trips. I have a Kawasaki for dirt, but I think I've grown out of it. It's a little smaller.
Have you thought about going to adventure side of things?
Yeah,
instead of a
ADV.
straight up dirt bike?
BMW or something?
I have thought about doing an adventure bike because at some point I really want to go through South America. I really want Paul and I to like tour through South America for like 6 weeks. Obviously we have the 6-year-old, so that isn't happening anytime soon. But yeah, at some point I would like to say goodbye to the world temporarily and go explore. And then I have my Royal Enfield, which is my flat track, but that's not really like a daily bike that I ride.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a really cool program. We didn't even really touch on that.
Yeah, that's okay.
So, well, no, it's not.
It was a very stressful time,
It
so we don't.
Yeah.
I would love to tell people because there's some really like impressive programs out there that give opportunity for people to get into racing, and it's not even getting to just the racing side, but understanding what goes on there. So explain the build train race program that Royal Enfield had.
So it's still going on.
Yes.
It's morphed a little bit as the years have gone by, but essentially I had to apply and say how much experience I had. They gave me a Royal Enfield INT 650, and as soon as the build was done, it was mine. They sent me the title. So basically you have to take everything that's street legal off of it, and I stripped mine down to the frame because I wanted to paint the frame.
Nice.
Because I'm trash. And then you have to put it all back together. You're putting on race wheels, you're changing the handlebars, you're changing the forks, you're doing all of these things to the bike so that you can race a flat track. And then you show up to, I think they had 6 races when I was doing it, and you show up to the actual AFT event.
Yep.
So like the professional
That's a
circuit.
sanctioned class.
Yeah, and you race with all of these other ladies that have done the same thing. So that being said, I was so slow. I had no business being in that program.
But what did you learn?
I learned that if you cry enough but keep going, you can finish a race bike. And
Well, then I'll be great at today.
That's right.
The rate I'm at today.
Yeah,
He's gonna hop on it right now and start
I'll
going.
be so fast.
I actually had things click for me like at the very end of my 2nd year. And I really started gaining speed and not being as afraid and understanding what form I needed, like the form I needed to have in order to not feel like I was going to fall off the bike.
Right.
And so at the end of the 2nd year, I feel like things clicked and I really started making some headway. But yeah, the program is only 2 years long. Even though I begged Jenny to let me come back, and she was like, "No, I can't." But no, it was. I learned a lot. Paul and I have this problem where we often bite off more than we can chew, and then we chew it, and that's how we learn.
Yeah,
and,
right.
Do y'all work well in the garage together, or do you work in the garage together at all?
You can answer that.
When you were
Like, I don't
building a
know, babe,
bike,
do we?
I was building a bike at the same time. And that, I mean, some of my best memories were that, like, we'd have to wait till Fitz went to bed, and he was younger, so he went to bed a lot earlier.
Yeah.
And we'd have probably 4 or 5 hours in the garage before we went to bed.
Yeah.
And it was actually really great.
It was cold.
Yeah, I think I might have
great.
overestimated your skill, thinking
Yeah.
that it was similar to mine, and that you had screwed up as often as I had. But
No,
so we had to come back and do some inspections and things like that. But it was
That's the
great.
process, though,
That's
right?
absolutely
Yeah,
the process, and that's why I say get a Sportster first, run the Sportster, and figure out what you
Never
need to
get
do
rid of it. Just get more.
get a Sportster that doesn't have a computer in it.
Yeah.
That makes things more complicated, right? So like if you're going to build, like one of my friends is building a chopper, right? It's like, yes, get a Sportster that doesn't have
Needs
all
8
of the
wires
computer.
and
yes,
that's it.
That's
Yep.
it.
Yeah.
That's the jam. That's where you start.
Get that solenoid push button. Like you don't need a little fancy wire going to a little toggle little bit thing. Called a button. Well, that is really dope. What else we got, Mr. Scott?
Well, the Rolling Thunder, that added about an extra half hour.
Well, it does.
I think the one question we asked before, and because of what we talked about earlier, you may or may not have an answer to this.
Okay.
But fun road names, or is there any fun road name of any friends that you have where you're given the name, you don't take the name? And I'm wondering if you know anybody or have fun road names. The other day, our good friend was Cupcake. And I learned later who it was, and it makes it extra funny, actually. But yeah, I don't know if that's part of your scene or.
Yeah. Some of it. So I played roller derby for like 8 years, and my name was.
Right. So names, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
It was the original Skankster, and everyone called me Skank, and my mom hated it.
Which brought you much joy.
Yeah. That's
actually,
right.
it
That's right.
did.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
So my writing group kind of switched between just calling me Mo or Mariah and calling me Skank. Had a girl named Cash, Biddy, Kiwi. Kelly is Kiwi.
I did not know Biddy's real name until she started doing our taxes.
Yeah, and then
Her name is Jane.
That's when people learn my
I
name.
made that up. Yeah.
People are like, so what's your given name? I was like, are you doing my taxes? I said, no, that's like none of your damn business.
but I'm like ready for like an official road name. I would like one at some point. So
well, give her.
So
would you
listen.
help her and get her a riding and running motorcycle so that she can get a damn name?
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly.
I mean, you did have the Kapow bike, and so like everybody just knew your bike as the Kapow bike.
I have my Sportster has like Kapow because
Like
I used
comic
to.
book Kapow.
Yeah, I used to
nice.
draw comic books, and so I like put a Kapow
Well,
on
that's super
there.
cool. If you ever need a
awesome?
voice for
Yeah.
it, let me know if you start drawing again.
Okay.
Yeah, I
right.
tend to talk a lot.
I actually have a question for you. Do you ever experience vocal fry?
What?
A vocal fry, like when you talk for a really long time?
No.
No? Okay. I'm just
Yeah, this same way at the beginning of the day as it is at the end.
Okay.
It's really about hydration.
Okay, that's fair.
It's not essential, so your body shuts it off first.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you're stressing something that your body's not sending blood and health to, then you're just going to beat the crap out of it, and there is no solution for that other than being quiet and drinking more water.
Okay.
The little remedies will get you through the night, but what you're doing is hurting yourself.
Okay.
And so after that night, you've got even more repair to do.
Okay.
So
Just
usually at the
chugging
end of
water.
an event, you can't find me. I'll get off the microphone, and I'll hear, hey, where's Dumptruck? It's because, hey, we're going to go party, blah, 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 blah. And I'm somewhere nearby, not saying a word, because that's the only way I get to hide with this stupid, weird voice that I got. And because I have to prep for the next day. Like, I'm known for being a very good time and running around like a chicken with my head cut off wearing a Speedo in public. Like, I have a reputation as a party guy, but I'm also very much professional. And whenever it's time for me to get on the microphone for whatever event it is, whether it's for charity, whether it's for pay, whether there's 400 people there or 15,000, like, it's the same responsibility, and I really love what I do. So, and that is why I get to do this with a smile on my face, because this is one of the things that I like to do. I love sharing stories. Really grateful that you guys were so open with us today.
Yeah, thank you.
And we've got some more hanging out and some more talking to do.
Yeah.
So look in that camera and tell people what they need to know about the Mile High Showdown, where they can visit, tickets, all that kind of stuff, and then also for Heck Yeah.
Okay.
So the Mile High Showdown is on September 20th. You can go to milehighshowdown.co to find more information if you want to register as a racer or to get tickets. The new website for 2025 will be up in about 2 weeks, but you can find it there. I would say that if you have a Sportster, come race it. And send me an email at paul@milehighshowdown.com and let me know that you just got a regular old Sportster that you want to race, and we'll find you a class so you can race it in.
That's tight.
I'm Heck Yeah Motorcycle Club, so find us at Heck Yeah Moto Club on Instagram, as well as Facebook, and website is heckyeahmotorcycleclub.com.
Awesome.
And who are you?
Who are you?
I'm Scott O'Sullivan, a Rider Justice, so this has been a lot of fun.
Yes, it has.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
It's been another episode of Chasing the Ride. We will see you probably in about 15 minutes.